Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. We start our video with a story that begins with conflict but ends in a heartwarming way. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. I can only sit in the dining room if I'm eating food. A long time ago, something like 35 plus years, I was a wee little crap, 14 or 15, with a bit of a smart butt attitude. I worked at the local pizza place and generally liked my job. My manager was a young 18 or 19-year-old lady that the team would get high and drunk with after work and typically just hung out and partied all the time at her apartment. Well, the owner decided that she was a little too young to be the manager, so he demoted her to assistant and hired a new general manager. We'll call him Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith ended the employee discount for food and ended our perk of getting to eat messed up orders because he thought that we messed them up all the time on purpose. Plus, he liked to eat anchovies right out of the can. Gross. So he was all around not very popular with the kids on staff, including me. Another rule that he put in place was that during our breaks we could not sit in any of the tables in the dining room area unless we were eating something, but he never specified what we had to eat. At this point in history, another pizza chain that was famous for avoiding the Noid opened up a test pizza delivery place called Pizza Dispatch. This was a test to see if people would still like the pizza under a different name. The pizzas were 100% the same. The ingredients even had the original chain's name on the boxes. So one night during a really busy shift, I was told to go on break in 15 minutes. So I went to the payphone, we weren't allowed to use the store's phone for unofficial business, and called up Pizza Dispatch. They took my order, didn't believe that I wanted it delivered to a different pizza place, but after I explained the situation, they were game. The guy probably didn't believe me still, but they delivered. They even expedited it for me. So 15 minutes go by, I go on break, and I sit in the closet that we had for a break area until I hear Mr. Smith ask, "What the F are you doing in here?" The delivery guy reached for his bag and said, "I have a delivery for OP." I stepped out and said, "That's me," under the blistering stare of Mr. Smith. I paid for the pizza, gave a very healthy tip for the speed, and went and sat down at the dining room table, opened my box with my pizza as Mr. Smith came up and tried to make me eat somewhere else. I said, "You said that we could only sit in the dining room on our breaks if we were eating. You bring your lunch every day. Today, I brought mine." He got pretty mad, but I didn't push him far enough to get fired. But what did happen is that employees got our discount back, we were able to eat messed up orders, and Mr. Smith ended up teaching me a lot about work ethic, how to run a small business, complete inventory, and compute the profit and loss statement each month. This was in the mid-'80s, so we didn't have computers in the stores, we did it all on paper. I ended up working for him the entire time he was manager at our small restaurant and followed him to another chain later on. I still think about him and the lessons he taught me from time to time. While he wasn't a great manager at the beginning, he ended up being a great leader and mentor. Well played. Looks like he also learned a little from you. And our second story. Crazy lady wants my mom to quit her job because she can't speak English. In Austria. Background. So my mom's been working in a grocery store for 20 plus years. My mom's one of the oldest employees at the store. She's from a generation where they didn't have much, if at all, English classes in school, so she never really learned English at all. Also to point out, the store she works in being in our hometown, which is more on the countryside, so they never really had to deal with tourists other than from Germany or Switzerland, both countries where German is the main language. I was 19 at the time doing my military duty. After 3 weeks in the military, I had a weekend to go home. That's taken care of, on to the story. I came home on a Friday evening, and on Saturday morning, my grandparents asked me to pick up some things from the store my mom worked at. I drove there within a few minutes. I had everything, some water, a 6-pack of beer, a crossword, TV guide, some yogurts. I pushed my cart to the meat counter where my mom works most of the time, and here's some commotion there. As I pulled around the corner, I saw the EM, her nice husband, NH, and her nice kid, NK, around 15 or 16, arguing to my mom in English. As I mentioned, my mom and most of her coworkers in her age aren't fluent at all in English. Me wanting to help chime into the argument, conversations with my mom are in German, G, so I hope this isn't confusing. Me, G. "Hi Mom, what's up?" Mom, G. Thank God you're here. Can you please help me? I don't know what this lady wants. The EM is looking slightly confused at me in my best English. Hello, ma'am. What seems to be the problem? EM, rolling her eyes. Finally, someone who speaks English here. We're lost and wanted to ask for directions. This is before Navis and Google Maps were common. Me. Sure, where do you want to go? NH, pulling out a map. We wanted to go to Salzburg, and I think we took a wrong turn. As I was looking over the map with NH, the EM turned to my mom. You may want to consider another job if you can't speak English. Me, hearing what she said without looking up from the map, ma'am, if it wasn't clear before, she can't understand you. And by the way, we don't get that many tourists around here, so don't be surprised. How dare you talk to me like that? Why is it your business anyway? Mom, G, what's wrong now? Me, G, she's complaining because you don't speak English. EM starts screaming, stop this and speak English for Christ's sake. NK, Mom, stop it, you're causing a scene. Me, my mom can't speak English, she never needed to. EM, a bit taken aback, realizing she was my mom. Well, I'm gonna complain about her. Where's the manager? Mom, G, what's this about a manager? Me, G, she's asking for your boss. While my mom explained to me that her boss was on a delivery, he does this for the elderly customers who can't get to the store by themselves, the EM spots my cart with the beer in it. EM, is this your cart? Me, yes, not knowing what she wants. EM, how old are you? Me, well, it's none of your business, but I'm 19. EM, getting red in the face, that's it, I'm calling the cops. Me, what for? EM, this store is selling alcohol to a minor. You can't buy alcohol under 21. Me, where you're from maybe, in Austria you can buy beer at the age of 16. After I said that, the NK had a smile on his face. EM, pointing at her son, don't even think about it. Pointing at me, and you, she gets cut off by NH, honey, stop this nonsense and get in the car. EM, but, NH, now. The EM admitted defeat and walked to the car. NH, sorry for her behavior. Me, it's okay. I finished giving him directions, and before we parted, he wanted to apologize to my mom for her behavior, so I taught him how. He apologized, and we all went on our way. And to clarify, in the bigger cities with the tourist hotspots, they are speaking English, and as time went on, even the countryside stores, cafes, etc. started to be more tourist-friendly. I suspect it was a really good thing you came there when you did. That woman had a goal of making trouble. And our next story. Entitled Karen demands my pool. We go to a 5-star hotel. 3 Karens go to a 5-star hotel and orders. We'd like 1 pool with hot water, 1 with cold water, and 1 without water. Employee, what do you need a pool without water? Because one of my friends can't swim. So I'm renting a 1-story house with a private swimming pool with my wife. The house is part of a small neighborhood of 6 houses in total, 2 of which are slightly bigger than the others and have a private pool each. Those 2 are a fair bit more expensive for obvious reasons. Last week, someone knocks on the door and I go open it. Outside's a smiling woman with 2 kids. K, hello, I'm F-Face from next door. We thought we'd used your pool. Me, confused as hell and a bit stunned. Oh, you did you? I now notice they're all carrying towels and have swimming suits on. Me, I don't really like lending it out, I'm afraid, so I think I'll have to say no. Oh, but the rent gives me access to the pool when I want, said in a very smug way as if she's calling me an idiot. Me, you're not paying the rent for my house, and I know the owner doesn't include use of the pool in the contract. I know this because he's a close friend of my wife, and I happen to be the one who wrote the contract, as well as having translated the guy's ads for Facebook and such. Well, it's in the lease, so you don't really have any choice, do you? At this point, I just ask my wife to call up the owner, and he confirms that he hasn't said anything about her being allowed to use the pool and that the contract doesn't mention it. I tell her this, but since she has kids, I tell her I'll allow her to come over and use the pool perhaps once a month, as long as she gives me 1 week's notice or so. This is not good enough for F-Face, who demands immediate access to the pool as well as future use whenever she feels like it. This, of course, results in me withdrawing my kind offer and her stomping away screaming about getting me kicked out. Later, the owner shows up, having heard her screaming through the phone, and warns her sternly that she will be kicked out if she makes any more trouble. I don't think she'll be staying here for long. And our last great story. Entitled Mother versus Firefighters. Elderly homeowner has had family help clean up her yard, which had resulted in 2 large stacks. Local brigade arranged a permit to light and a time to burn off the stacks for her. We use stack burns to give new firefighters experience with fire in controlled areas. The permit's granted and neighbors are given a courtesy warning. The husband of the problem house gives the okay. Cue the day of the burn. The firefighters turn up with their 2 trucks, 1 for each stack. Hoses are laid out, a hydrant is set up as part of the training experience, and we're all ready to light. Neighboring house has a children's party on, however, smoke is expected to go straight up. The signal is given, and the firefighters become happy pyromaniacs and light up the stacks, which take quite well. All's going well. Then the entitled mother enters stage left. "What are you doing? You can't do that. I didn't get permission." We politely explain that we notified and provided a copy of the permit to light as a courtesy. She disappears fuming into her home. 5 minutes later, the first officer, whose name and contact details are on the permit, gets a very angry phone call. He moves away from the trucks and fire. Then we get an evil idea. Grinch who stole Christmas evil idea. Turns out the group of kids now gathered by the fence who want to have a go on the hose. Being kids, the answers were an energetic yes. We had a hydrant supply, a surplus of firefighters, and the stack burns were happily burning away. We arranged the hoses, put out a few traffic cones as targets, and had fun. First officer comes back, sees what's happening, and grins. Entitled mother comes back out with that I won walk to find her party relocated to the fire trucks with happy parents taking photos of their children on the hoses, stickers, always have stickers on hand, and smiles all around. Go on, tell us we have to stop so we don't ruin your party. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.